All right, let's start with a couple points of world building this week.
All right.
Get some character input here. Kelian.
Sure.
You are hip to a couple choice pieces of Sigil rumors that nobody else in the party would know of.
Heck.
Do we have Kelian here?
Yeah,
He's,
can you hear
he's,
me?
he's talking.
Gotcha.
He
Can
was
you hear
just
me?
very quiet.
You were a little tunnely.
Yeah, you need to put
word.
the mic in your throat again.
The Factal of the Fated is Duke Rowan Darkwood. And actually, since he wasn't here last week, I'm going to go ahead and load up the Hall of Records so he can kind of see what we're dealing with here.
Wait, I'm going to go ahead and say his name's probably Rowan, because his last name is Darkwood.
I'm going with Rowan, though. So, just to be contrarian at this point.
What is he, a Pokemon professor?
Yes. He's not a professor. He's a duke. He's actually not a duke. People just call him the Duke.
They call him the Pokemon Duke.
They call him the Pokemon Master. It's right. Let me get this image open. Imgur says it's over capacity again. That's fine. There we go. So, this is the Hall of Records. This is where
Oh, okay.
you live and work. So you've got the central hall here, and then it's surrounded by several other halls. This central hall is something like 40 stories tall. It's an enormous building. It's a filing cabinet for low and mid-level clerks like yourself. So you probably actually work in one of these satellite offices, probably the Hall of Property Records.
Property
I would
records.
think. There's also a faction dormitory. About 2,000 members of the faction live on site. You're not one of them, but you live pretty close.
Okay.
Your Factal's name is Rowan Darkwood. He is a guy from the Prime. He blew into Sigil about a year ago, joined your faction immediately, then within a few weeks, went into the Factal's office, demanded she abdicate the position to him. And she did. Her name was Emma Oakwright, and her son was looking to take over the faction, thinking it would be a hereditary office, thinking it would be handed to him. So, of course, Darkwood does not, and most of the other Fated don't look kindly on him either. So now Darkwood's in charge, and he's a big mover and shaker in Sigil. What you know that most other people don't is that Darkwood has been courting one of the other Factals in the city, the Factal of the Mercy Killers. Her name is Nelesia. She's a Tiefling. She's 19 years old. She's seen as very cruel and very iron-handed. Like she was born in the prison and raised there, and for whatever reason, Factal Darkwood has taken a shine to her. So they're
Which faction is this?
the Mercy Killers. They run the prison.
Jailers.
They are the executioners.
Got it.
So they haven't done any formal announcement of their relationship, and it's kind of an open secret inside of the two factions.
Word.
But most of the people inside the Fated know. So in the past couple of weeks, the workers in the Fated, the clerks, I mean, you've got other stuff on your mind, I'm sure, but Factal Nelesia is about to roll out a new system for sentencing in Sigil. She's going to overhaul the entire system, the entire punitive system in Sigil. It's going to be very simple. She thinks it's going to be, she's going to clean up the streets, and Factal Darkwood has her back. She's going to have his full backing and support of the Fated. It's going to work like this. All crimes in Sigil are going to fall into three categories. There will be petty crimes, like failure to pay fines, operating a business without a license, that sort of thing. The punishment's going to be 10 years in the prison. You will have you'll have misdemeanors, things like noise ordinances, preventing other factions from doing their duty in the city, petty theft, that kind of thing. 10 years hard labor in the lower planes. And then, of course, you'll have felonies: rape, arson, murder, burglary, that sort of thing. Penalties: death. She's going to roll this out in the next coming weeks.
Okay.
So, what is
Kurt
Kelian's
tells us
take on these events happening within his faction?
Well, I imagine he has much respect for Darkwood. I would think that he would have some issue with the way she's just going to shoehorn in all crimes. If you commit a crime, you get 10 years no matter what, and then the difference seems to be whether or not you get hard labor.
Exactly.
That seems kind of ridiculous. Oh, unless it's a felony, in which case you're just dead.
Yes.
You know.
But that's reserved for the harshest of crimes in the city.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's a level of crime above that only the Lady of Pain deals with, like threats to Sigil itself, kind of things.
Sure.
Okay.
Did they just sort of put up their hands and go, "Yeah, no, take Sigil, it's fine." What do people do with that? All right.
But these new punitive measures, they're supposed to be rolling them out in the coming weeks. She's just waiting for Darkwood to get some of his issues done in-house, because as soon as those hit the streets, he's going to have an army of collectors out calling in old tabs.
Okay. Does he know what the issues are?
Does Darkwood know what the issues are?
Does Kelian? In order to get Darkwood's ducks in a row.
Oh, yeah, and you've had some part in it, just being a clerk working at the Hall of Records. That's been some of your work in the past week, is chasing down bills overdue that had got lost in the shuffle, things from 5-10 years ago. There's no statute of limitations on anything in Sigil, so he has what he's called diggers inside the Hall of Records, looking for things to punish people with. Rumor is that this is going to cause... Like, the Hall of Records itself was originally a college that came 1 week overdue on its lease, and then the Fated just moved in after they defaulted on the loan. And rumor is that Darkwood's looking to do this all over the cage. He's trying to find as many people as he can who are going to default on various loans or bills or overdue payments, and then have the Fated step into their property afterwards and put it to their own use.
Interesting. Okay.
That's rumors and hearsay.
That sounds kind of cool.
That's so you
property forfeiture.
Much props for Duke Darkwood then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this will be delightful.
Mahogany. I did a little more digging into the realm of your god, Tir Naog. And it turns out one of the other factals is from that realm. Factal Darius of the Sign of One. They're the ones that believe they imagined the multiverse into existence. So my question is, I mean, this is common knowledge. My question is, does this have any effect on Mahogany's stance on the Signers or on Factal Darius, or not?
No, I mean, not really.
No?
Because lots of people come from Sigil. That doesn't mean that they're all equally respectable.
So who in Sigil is not respectable, then?
Well, there's this guy who thinks he's a wizard.
He's my favorite.
He's your favorite. Okay.
Yep.
So that's the world building stuff. Let's start with Kelian today.
Yeah.
Let me get the Sigil map back out here. And get my session notes out here.
Hey, Brick.
Yeah.
At some point, can you, like, resave this after we've all named ARC tokens? Because I'm getting tired of having to do it every single time Sigil comes back.
Oh,
yeah.
Here, let's do this then. I'm going to go ahead and reload the map. Nobody move your chip yet.
Okay.
Go ahead, everybody name them now and tell me when you're done, and I'll save it from there.
Alright.
Nick's all like, I'm tired of typing 6 letters. God! I could wear my keyboard out.
No, listen, I know where he's coming from, because I have to type 8 letters.
We should probably... which one did, Who did Destel take?
Oh, he's not playing this week, so I'm not worried about it. Alright, there we go. Okay, we're good. Go ahead and grab them.
Alright, thank you.
You're probably going to have to rename them when I load in the next map. That's fine.
That's fine. We come back to this one so often, though.
Yeah. Kelian.
Yes, sir.
We last left Kelian he had just discovered some evidence planted in his house by the Harmonium. He found a box with Anastas the Truthful's severed hands.
Those jerks. They knew it wasn't going to be here next
Oh,
week.
right. What the fuck?
Immediately
whole
after
setup.
that, you bailed on the kip. You know the Harmonium's watching the place. They're going to be here any minute. With any luck, they'll put the screws to this Tiefling who's been tagging around with you. So you got out of the house, and your situation is not great at the moment. You know your house is being watched by the Harmonium. You don't have many friends in Sigil. You don't have a lot of access to your resources because your face is known at the faction headquarters. And the big thing is there's nobody in Sigil who owes you favors. The Fated don't deal in favors.
Right.
So the first question is, what do you do with these hands?
I got to get rid of them. I put the star in the box with the hands, and I get rid of them.
So you take your
Now
trinket.
you're going to ask me how.
You take your trinket with the spider emblem and put it in the box?
Yep.
Okay.
This is all very incriminating.
So how do you dispose of the box?
How do I dispose of the box? Yeah. Because there isn't even, like, some sort of waterway I could just dispose of it. Like, is there, like, a sewer
There
I can dump
is.
them in?
There is an open sewer over in the hive called the Ditch. That is just
There we go.
fetid water running through the hive.
There you go.
The Harmonium don't go there anyway, right?
The Harmonium don't spend a lot of time in the hive, no.
It's called the ditch because people always leave their incriminating shit there.
Yes. So
Pretty
you,
much.
you throw the box with the hands in the ditch. What do you do
Sick.
that night to lay low?
To lay low? Let me ask this. What is the most... Where is the... Now that I've gotten rid of the evidence, where is the biggest... The Great Bazaar, where there's like the most people, easy to get lost, easiest to blend in, sort of deal?
It's pretty easy to do that just about anywhere in Sigil, especially in throughout the Market Ward, the Hive Ward, and the Clerk's Ward as well. So it's a matter of, do you get a few coins and find a room for the night? Do you try to hunker down in the abandoned building?
Let me see. Yes. Let's do that. Let's get a room for the night.
Okay, where at? Over near the market?
Yeah.
Okay.
Near the market.
You find a small, just outside of an alley, off another alley, place where you can buy a kip for just the night for 2 silver pieces. They don't ask any questions.
Sick. I like this place already.
And you sleep fitfully. When you wake up the next morning, there's a paper envelope has been slipped under your door.
Okay. I open up the paper envelope.
You pick it up, and the card attached to the envelope says, "Regrettably, you lost this," and it's signed Aunt Nancy.
I knew this was going to happen. I totally knew this was going to happen.
Listen, you can't fit hands in a paper envelope, so you're fine.
I guess I'm okay in that regard. Alright. Kelian lets out a sigh, rolls his eyes.
And looking inside the envelope, you see the 5-pointed star,
Yeah.
but no sign of the hands.
Alright. Secure the star.
Okay.
Hide it.
Now, while you're out and about that day, you
Yeah,
notice...
because I figured that day I would probably be perusing the Great Bazaar. I took my weapons, right?
Oh yeah, everything on your character sheet you have.
Alright, just making sure. Just making sure.
And I'm going to go ahead and post a link to this in the Twitch chat. You see the same face a few times over the course of the day. A Cornugon, which is a type of kind of mid-level Batisu, one of the lawful devils. And you see his same face throughout the day. It's not odd to see fiends walking the streets of Sigil, but this one is definitely keeping his eye on you. And when he sees that you've noticed him, He approaches you on the side of the street.
I play it cool. Those movements.
Okay.
No actions. Don't go for my sword or anything. Play it cool.
And he's not dressed in much of anything.
Okay.
He's got scaly hide and big wings. You do see his whip that he carries. Kornugans tend to carry thorny whips. But it's coiled around and hanging from a leather belt. He approaches you, and he bows very deeply in front of you. He says, "Good day, sir. If I may have a word on behalf of my mistress."
Sure.
And he motions back out to the street, indicating that he wants to walk and talk.
All right. Yeah. Why not?
He introduces himself as Tenthoth.
Tenthoth.
Says he is in the service of the Lady Ligris. And the lady believes that the two of you have a mutual enemy.
Do we?
This is, of course, you cannot speak about the details out in the open street. And you notice he's leading you out the side of the market towards the ladies' ward. Towards the densest population of Harmonium in the city.
Where in the ladies' ward?
Right now you're still in the market ward, but you're
Still in the market ward, but we're just going towards the ladies' ward.
you're
Gotcha.
headed
Okay.
you're headed here down. Where's my tab button? Here, down Copperman Way. You're going towards the ladies' ward right now.
Gotcha. Well, considering don't have a job, don't have a home, probably a wanted criminal at this point. I gotta do what I gotta do. So.
Are you saying that out loud, or just musing?
No,
No.
I'm musing.
Okay.
I am justifying Kelian's actions is what I'm doing.
Gotcha. And as you're staying mostly silent, Tenthoth, he does most of the talking. Talking about the great deeds that the Lady Ligris has achieved throughout her tenure in Sigil. She's very old money is how she puts it. How Tenthoth puts it.
I haven't come across this name before in the Hall of Records or anything like that, Lady Ligris.
You probably have.
Okay.
Throw just a wisdom check.
I can do that.
Actually, make that an intelligence check. We'll make that a knowledge check.
As soon as I can grab a die.
I'll let you throw that at advantage because you work at the Hall of Records.
Okay. Lisa, it's going to be intelligence. Yeah, we'll go with character sheet.
Well, there's a
That's
20.
a
That's a
nat
20. That is
That's
a
the
20.
nat 20 right there.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Off to a good start.
You're not one of Factal Darkwood's diggers. But you know that some of his diggers have delegated tasks down to you. And Ligris is one of the names that comes up again and again and again. Factal Darkwood, number one on his hit list is Aaron Montgomery, Factal of the Sensates. He wants dirt on her more than anybody in Sigil. Ligris would be number 10 or 11 on that same list. She's a fiend. She's an Aranese, one of the Beatisu, which is a very... they're very comely women with huge bat wings. Their job, essentially, they're not a succubus, but they're the lawful version of the succubus, essentially. They also fight very well. Sometimes, I think even in the 5th edition Monster Manual, they show her wearing plate armor. But Ligris is an aristocrat. She's lived in Sigil longer than the memory of... I mean, she's a fiend. She's been here longer than anybody can remember. But she's always kept her nose squeaky clean. If there's any dirt on her, you've not come across it in the Hall of Records.
Gotcha.
Why Darkwood wants dirt on her, you have no idea.
Gotcha.
She lives in a huge manor in Sigil.
Mm.
And the walls of her manor, enclose a large, lush, very well-kept garden, the likes of which are very uncommon for her type of fiend. And when you arrive at the manor, Tenthoth, of course, brings you around back, brings you in through the servants' entrance,
Sure.
and brings you into Ligris' sitting room. Asks if he could bring any refreshment.
Kill for a glass of water.
And he exits the room. So you're sitting in this sitting room, and it's more of a library than a sitting room. It's a hexagonal room. The double doors you came in on one wall. The other 5 walls, floor to ceiling, 15 feet high. Just books everywhere.
Books.
Huge, fantastic collection of tomes from all over the plains.
Are there any tomes that are like set to the side or something like that, or is it all just meticulous?
Looks very meticulously ordered. There's none that are
Okay.
set out. After a few moments, the Cornugan returns with a crystal goblet of sparkling water.
Fantastic. Cheers.
And a few moments after he leaves, Ligris enters the room, stunningly beautiful, and she's not hiding her fiendish attributes at all. You see the wings that she has clasped across her back, wearing a sparkling red gown as she enters the room. And she seems delighted to see you. She says, "My guests, I was afraid you wouldn't come."
Well, let's just say that things change really quickly. I shrug as I take in some water.
More quickly than you know, and sometimes they change back.
Is that so?
She says there's a certain elemental, and she says that word with a lot of hate. Just a very deep-rooted despise in that word. A certain elemental that's taken to doing business in Sigil. And I would like to see him removed from the picture.
Kelian raises an eyebrow. Moved.
So I believe, unfortunately, you have been caught up in the whirlwind of his doings here in the cage. Caught in his infernal web. And I would see you freed, Kelian, I would.
It's funny, Toria doesn't seem like an elemental to me.
And she
He
asks...
sort of chuckles to himself.
My apologies, you have me at a disadvantage, for I don't know who Toria is.
Never you mind. Who is this elemental?
His name is Jandar. He's a Dao slaver. And he's looking to bring his business into the City of Doors. And this conflicts with certain dealings that I have of my own. Says, I believe with a slight push, we can set events in motion that lock him out of the city. Force him to take his business, terrible as it is, back to the inner planes where it belongs.
Kelian nods. I can probably make that happen. But what's in it for me?
Well, as you say, things change very quickly. What has changed for you recently?
Oh, sounds like you know.
Then you know what I'm offering. You can have it all back.
I mean, that sounds very good. And that sounds like a lot, that sounds like a lot to promise, but I could really use something right now. Some sort of, just something to know that just in case that what you promised doesn't actually come through, I still have something for my efforts.
And she nods. She says, very well. I understand. She snaps her fingers, and as she does, Fenthoth, the Cornugon, re-enters the room. This time holding a small metal box made of some kind of black metal. Couldn't be iron. The fiends tend to not like iron very much. Iron and silver. Some kind of Beatorian black metal. And he brings it in and he sets it on the table next to his mistress, and she ushers him away. And she picks up the box gingerly and opens it. Looking inside, you see 6 small vials of liquid. 4 of them have kind of a swirling red color, and the other 2 are a very flat grayish color, kind of like a cloudy water. She says, these are magical potions. We'll call this an advance payment, for they may come in handy on the task you need to accomplish.
I pick one up, I sort of look it over.
Okay. Make an Arcana check. Which one do you pick up?
You said there's a gray one and there's
4 swirling red ones, and there's 2 like cloudy gray ones.
Oh, swirling red ones. That sounds way more interesting. That is 12.
A very common type of potion that you see. Expensive, though. It's a healing potion. These go in market depending on whether or not you can ascertain its actual value, like who made it, make sure it's the real kind of thing. These go from between 50 and 80 gold in the bazaar. And she's offering you 4 of those plus 2 of the gray ones. And when she sees you examine it, she says, in no uncertain terms, what you're holding can bind wounds and mend injuries. Adventurers and planewalkers are very familiar with them in their job. She motions to the other 2. Says those 2 are for magic users. People who sling spells. Not of your forte, but you will need allies.
Kelian sort of chuckles. And this is clearly a dangerous job you're sending me on, then.
She nods. This is dangerous, but not so much as crossing the harmonium. Or the fated.
I close the box. I say, very well. This will do.
She says there's a group. They were seen at the Fortune's Wheel last night. There was an altercation.
The Fortune's Wheel?
Fortune's Wheel is a kind of upscale tavern, a gambling den in the ladies' ward. She hands you a handbill that has, you've seen these around, especially in the clerk's ward, advertising a band playing at the Fortune's Wheel, the Poets of Distortion. She says there was an altercation at this show, and these people are close to finding Gendar's operation in town. She says, I've taken great pains to ensure he's tending to business elsewhere for the next 3 days. If in that time you can make contact with those people and use their knowledge of his operation, find where it is, I believe you'll find evidence to bring down his contacts within the various factions of Sigil, at which point he will no longer be able to do business in the cage.
Kelian nods.
And I trust in doing so, this will end the problems you're having with your faction?
I hope so. Guess we'll find out, won't we?
She says, very good. You will keep me abreast of how the job is going, I trust.
Of course, my lady.
And then she bows again and motions to the door.
Bow as well. With the glass of water, finish it off. So I exit.
And you're poisoned. Good job.
Yay! I have potions for that.
Well, it's actually a poison of no potions working. It's very specific.
So the rest of you guys, what was your plan for the next day? What was your next step?
I was gonna go check in with. Gotta figure out. Gotta try to look at my notes. Here's my contact. But there was a guy who was looking into other members of Gendar's gang in various factions.
Yes, there was. Let me pull up my list here. That would have been Vilmunder, I think.
Yeah, that was Vilmunder.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go see if Vilmunder has anything for me yet.
What was the next time
before-
that you three were going to come back together and compare notes?
I think it was tonight.
Okay.
Yeah. We already made sure that the poets were safe and that Happy was safe as well. Well, safe-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all packed up. They're all packed off to Arcadia, I think.
Arborea.
Arborea.
Arborea, that's right.
Okay. You swing by Vilmunder, and he hasn't managed to unearth much of anything yet. He says he's been trying to work his angle inside the Mercy Killers because he knows any kind of large illicit business operation coming through Sigil, that would be one thing they'd have to hammer down. The Mercy Killers are also notoriously easy to infiltrate because there's a lot of splinter factions inside of that faction. So the Anarchists tend to make good headway into the Mercy Killers, so he says that's where he's starting to attack the problem, but so far nothing has come up.
Okay.
He also asks if it's time to kill Yappas yet.
I'll say, well, let's get those names first, and then we can do it.
He seems satisfied. So where were you guys going to meet up that night?
Let's say, well, I probably would have said at Serenity's
You're
house, but she's not here.
Yeah.
We can do it at Serenity's house.
Yeah, you still can.
Yeah, let's just do it at Serenity's house.
Okay.
She's out.
In that case, Kelian, as the Cornugon is escorting you off the estate, he slides you a slip of paper and tells you that's where they'll be, and then bids you adieu. And looking at it, it's an address for a tenement near the gymnasium, owned by an old crusty dwarf named the Gruffler, who very annoyingly always pays his bills on time.
Oh, that's the worst.
All right, so let's do Ciclon. What was your haps today?
Well, I kind of already followed up with Onaris, the metal worker who told us about the cages.
Yes.
At the time being, it's been a few days since I've seen Father Mondo, so I'm gonna go see him.
Hey, and doing what with Armando?
Just helping him out with the soup kitchen.
Okay. So you're going to spend the day volunteering?
Yeah.
And what about Mahogany? What's Mahogany's plans for the day?
Well, my plan was to just go bust into the hive, and no one seems interested in that. So I'm thinking I'm just going to spend the day agitatingly making shitty woodworking, because my mind's just not on it.
You try to make the shittiest woodworks you possibly can, but they end up consistently beautiful.
And it's really bugging me.
So that night you're all set up to meet back up at Serenity's tenement.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, once everything's set up at the soup kitchen, Ciclon will change and then head over in that direction.
In fact, I think I still forgot to put Armando on my list here. Let me do that real quick, so I don't forget that Armando's there.
Could be exploited for later.
What was his race? Do you remember?
Human.
Human?
I have him listed as human priest of. Because you said you were going to come up with who he followed, and
Yes.
that, and nothing had ever come of that.
He's a godsman, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, does he own the kitchen that he works? Does he run the place?
I would say yes.
Okay. Lately, then, I mean, you know that throughout most of the cage, especially in the hive, the bleakers are the one that tend to soup kitchens and houses of charity and whatnot. It's not unheard of for other factions to operate them as well, but what you've noticed lately is that more and more of Armando's volunteers have been coming from the Bleak Cabal.
Okay.
And Armando's he's happy to help. He's happy to have the volunteers. He'll take anybody who wants to come in and work. And they're diligent workers, and the Bleakers are known for their charity work throughout Sigil. What strikes you and Armando as being a little odd, though, is that they have their own kitchens to work. So, like, what the dilly? Why are they taking such a sudden interest in the rare kitchens run by other factions? And we'll develop that a little bit down the line. And he's like your mentor?
Yeah.
Okay. And where is this soup kitchen he runs? I guess it would be
It's
in the lower ward somewhere.
Yeah, it's in the lower ward in this general area.
Cool.
Where I got my icon right there.
Let me paste him into my NPC lists. Alright, then we won't forget Armando exists next week. So the three of you meet back up at Serenity's tenement, and it's not weird at all that she's not there. It's actually a very homey little unfurnished room. Now I'm going to turn back over to Kelian. You got the floor.
I'm waiting outside, hiding myself. Until I see them coming back, and I very obviously notice Riot.
That may or may not be the case, depending on how Riot's dressed.
Oh, really? I thought.
Yeah, he'd notice me.
Okay.
I don't think he's never actually seen the poets play, so.
No.
Yeah, he'd remember me.
Okay. So you see, Calivia, because you're not Riot in that getup. She enters the tenement. And had Kelian met Mahogany?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you also see Mahogany enter the tenement.
Basically, it's a collection of your best friends.
Yeah. We all have your best interests at heart.
You get a nice warm feeling when you see Mahogany.
Oh, that's right. You tried to burn his kip down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Nice warm feeling. I like that. Kelian resists the urge to go full stealth and just snipe them and take them all out. As much as he wants to do that, there's bigger fish to fry at the moment. So
Okay.
in that case, he's just gonna walk up the door and knock on it.
Okay. So yeah, there's a rapping on the door of Serenity's tenement.
And I'll look up. And then I'll look up and look to the other two and say, "What do we do? Do we let him? Who is it?"
Just a group of people just sitting in a house, and I'll go and I'll open it up.
And Kelian is standing there.
I'll close the door.
Rap on the door harder.
I'll say, I think someone else should get the door.
Riot shrugs and gets up.
Okay.
Goes to open the door.
Kelian's still standing there.
This must be some sort of sick joke.
Riot laughs and says, "How are things going with the harmonium?" says, I see you got all your skin still on you. Means you must
Yes.
have dodged them. Means they didn't find your evidence.
They didn't. They didn't.
And you're a taker. You're some kind of taker, right?
What's it to you?
Means you owe me.
As I recall, you busted into my apartment. You held me at weapon
Yeah.
points.
Listen,
Let's call it
told you-
even.
I told you information saved your life.
Yes, well, as it turns out, we may have. It appears that we still have mutual business to attend to.
Who's
Oh,
your
yeah?
friend, Riot?
And Riot turns around and says, "Why don't you all meet my good buddy Kelian?"
Shifty eyebrow.
Kelian, how nice to meet you for the first time.
I raise my eyebrow and just be like, there's a joke, there's an inside joke that
While we're in
Ciclon
the
is
spirit of
missing.
calling it even.
So is Ciclon in his
yeah,
regalia? Okay.
yeah.
Kelian, this is Mahogany and El Ciclon. Our other friend's out right now, but she might be back sometime.
Kelian nods. And Kelian, Hall of Records. And I relay to Mahogany and El Ciclon all of the events that have transpired since Riot and I were in the Hall of Records, including.
So wait, the
being
hardheads were looking for you? That was some bad timing.
But yeah, all he's not gonna hold anything back. Relay all the information, how he was set up, and how Lady what's her name,
Now, when you say all the information,
Ligris.
because you're being framed for a murder that you did commit.
Yeah. Because this is going to affect Ciclon's response to this nonsense.
He leaves out the part where Ligris has contracted him to kill
Okay.
Leandar.
Do you leave out the part
Rest
where
of-
you killed Anastas the Truthful?
Oh yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Riot
I
will
said everything from
Riot
the Hall
will
of
truthfully
Records
fill
on.
in that part.
He'll say that he was framed for the murder, but not that he actually committed the murder. Framed for a murder he actually committed.
This is like the most ridiculous and hilarious plot point of the whole thing.
No, this is the best plot point of the whole thing.
Now, the name... So you didn't tell them anything about Ligris, then?
No, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
The name Ligris is known to you other guys, probably only in passing, as an old maid, a very old aristocrat who lives in a large manor in the middle of the ladies' ward. But more than that, you probably don't know about her.
So this goes pretty damn high up. Well, if you're an innocent man, I see no reason why I shouldn't help you.
Stone face does not react at all when he says that.
Okay.
Complete poker face.
Seemed like a useful guy to have around in any case.
Okay, so where do you go from there?
So what's our next step?
And Riot says, "Well, my offer's still on the table."
Sorry, what was that?
Which offer was that?
Oh well, we already know one of the ringleaders in this whole thing. This guy's boss Courier. I figure now that we've got him in, it's going to be easier than ever to break into his kip and assassinate him.
I don't actually know where Torier lives.
You do. He lives in the dormitories at the Hall of Records.
Oh, okay.
So it would actually
Cool.
be very
I thought it
difficult
was-
to break in and assassinate him.
I thought we established that I don't know where he lives. All right, no, that works out then.
Yeah, but we established that before I got all the books with the maps of the headquarters and
All right.
everything.
All right,
So-
all right.
Now
Fair
it's
enough, fair
now
enough.
it's being reestablished.
Yeah, we had to retcon a few things last week.
All right,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine.
So,
Well, I don't.
but to be
I
clear-
don't recommend.
Ligris didn't hire you to assassinate Jandar. She said Jandar's going to be out of town. What she wants you to do is sneak into his operation and find evidence of his connections with the various factions in Sigil.
Sure, but you know, if he were to say wind up with an arrow in the head,
Who's to say?
but yeah,
And she said that the
You
people
won't-
you're
you
supposed to contact would know where to go.
the people I'm supposed to contact. Okay. Did she say? Did she give me names, or did she
No,
just? Or did
she didn't tell you anything. The Cornigon slipped you the
Okay.
address. The address brought you here.
Okay,
You got the box with the potions, and the Cornigon gave you the address.
gotcha. Okay.
All
So
right,
you
sorry,
mentioned
says,
that-
all right.
You
all right,
mentioned
since-
during that story that
Mhm.
we would know where to go. That she said that.
Yeah.
When you say that, Mahogany says, "Finally, someone who's thinking the right way. We know exactly where to go. We should just do it."
Okay. What's your plan?
All right, we go in the front door. Take out everyone in the place, and then we write down anything that looks interesting.
Front door of.
Weren't we given a place in the hive?
Serenity and Elsie Clone had tailed the Genasi there one night, but didn't investigate it very thoroughly. But yeah, there's a little shack
I
down
thought
the
we
hive.
had went back and went in there, and there was fuck all in there.
What happened was you guys went in there and used portal sense and noticed a portal somewhere nearby, but you didn't push any further than that yet.
All right. Well, understanding that all that's been relayed.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
we go in that portal. We find it. We go in there.
Okay. Seems like he's good at lead as any. And now we've got one more in our band.
How about you? Are you any good at looking for portals?
Shake my head. Not really my thing.
Do you have the key to it? Is the next question.
It's fine. It's the first time for everything.
Shake my head again.
Would I be able to tell what key it would need based on the portal?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Not
So
without
thought-
knowing somebody who knows the key.
And Riot pipes up and says, "Look, if we can find somebody who uses this portal, I can pry it right out of the mine for you."
I'll nod. Okay.
Well, the best way to find someone is to go. So let's do it.
Agreed.
And Mahogany's at this point just going to pack up and get out. Let's go.
So Mahogany's out of the tenement.
Yep.
Yeah, Riot's following
Cool.
close behind. She
Follow
likes this
along.
idea.
Sure, why not?
So the destination is the shack in the hive, yes?
Mhm.
In the dead
Yep.
of night.
I thought it was in the slags.
That's
It
an
is,
eye.
but it's nighttime. So after an hour or two walking through Sigil, you make your way to the slags where this shack is. Does not look to have changed since the last time you were here, Ciclon.
Do we all vaguely sense a portal nearby? Or is that like something that takes some doing?
You would take a check to do it. It's a proficiency.
But I did note the location of it earlier, right? Or
Not
did
the
I not?
exact location, but you know it's nearby.
All right. Now this time
All right. Well,
I'll do a
Mahogany's
little
gonna
more
be trying
thorough.
to
I'll move a
sense
little
it
bit.
anyway.
What's
Yeah,
stats
doodle.
that tied to?
I think we said wisdom.
Okay, I'll go ahead and make a check for that then.
Okay, so but you're doing it from the street?
Oh, well, no, we didn't know the house, I assume.
Okay. Who's entering the house?
I mean, Riot is.
Ciclon.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Mahogany will go first.
Mahogany and Riot are going into the house. Anybody else?
Ciclon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll all go.
The three of you step in the door, and as soon as Kelian tries to follow you, a portal opens in the doorway, and Kelian steps through it.
Bullshit.
Huh.
Well, okay.
And looking through the portal
Mahogany
is
steps
just
back outside the house.
looking through the portal is just darkness, no light sources.
Can we go through the portal?
Oh, yeah.
Mahogany will try to go through the portal.
Yeah, it stays open for long enough for like 8 people to
head
go
through.
through. Okay.
Okay. That was weird.
You must not leave the city very often.
You guys are going to enter down here at 1. So go ahead and move your
See what the
tokens
power of positive thinking can lead you to.
down there. Now,
Aw,
you're definitely
Emily's gone.
underground. Some distance. It's a very stale and musty smell. Not like a nauseating smell, but just very like old, earthy smell. No light sources down here whatsoever, except for the torch that Ciclon is wielding. So you step through the doorway. The doorway behind you goes to a dead end. There's an archway of wooden planks, kind of hastily thrown up. And examining the archway, you see that it's been nailed and bolted into the sigil stuff, the stuff that the ground in sigil is made out of. 10 feet away from that, walking forward, though, you see a noticeable crack in the ground. Kind of like a dividing line where the sigil stuff ends and you step onto solid stone, earth. Like at the inside of a cave.
Alright.
Extremely dead quiet in here.
Planar survival.
To do what?
Figure out where the hell we are now.
Oh, you're still in sigil.
Oh, we are still in Sigil?
For a fact, because the portal you came through went through about a 10 or 15 foot long tunnel of the sigil stuff, which doesn't appear anywhere else in the multiverse. Go ahead and make that check, though.
Okay, my check was a 11.
11? Okay.
What is that running off of?
Same as survival. So I think
Yeah, my,
wisdom.
I got a proficient.
I don't have proficiency.
Yeah,
but
wisdom.
I'll try to figure it out. I'm good at survival. 18.
You're rolling a survival check?
I was gonna do the planar.
Okay.
I just untrained though.
What it looks like to you is that the earth that you're standing in came from elsewhere. It looks like somebody brought a huge mass of earth from somewhere and buried it underneath sigil for the purpose of holding these tunnels.
I'm gonna cast Produce Flame so I can see.
Is that a cantrip?
Yeah.
Well, already got a torch up.
I know, but now I've got one too.
Okay.
I do have dark.
You have dark vision?
I do. I have a dark vision up to 60 feet.
Okay. Now, dark vision. This is a rule change because we kind of played real fast and loose with it last campaign. This campaign, I want to do it more by the books. What dark vision means is, in complete darkness, you can see as though you had low light, which is very bad vision. You don't get any. You can't see color. You have difficulty telling the difference between objects and shadows and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So right now you have bright light because Ciclon is holding a torch. And how are you manipulating your produce flame? Are you just like holding it out in your hand?
Yeah.
Okay. So the tunnel winds forward in front of you, this kind of broad tunnel, further out than your torch can shine. Although right here to your left is a heavy earthen door set into the wall.
I'm going to take this moment to activate Psionic Focus.
Okay.
I'll try opening the door to see if it leads back to where we came from.
Door is not locked. Well, the door that goes back where you came from will be behind you off the table here.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to open that door then.
As you do. Opening this door, very tiny, cramped living quarters. And looking in, I'm going to have to do another image search here. Looking in, you see from the darkness this pair of wide, bright eyes looking back. And as soon as it notices the light, it scurries off through a doorway off to its left.
Okay.
Let me get a quick image search here. I'm going to paste these images in my stream chat.
Okay.
This is the worst looking monster in history. This thing is so ugly. Boom. There it is.
Yeah.
But you just see it as a pair of bright eyes in the darkness. You don't really get to see its form very well. You know that it's small, and you know that it's fast. And it kind of scuttles out of the way through an opening off to its left.
Okay.
I have a question
Yes.
that's more meta. This just made me think of it. What counts as an animal for the purpose of animal handling? Like, some monsters are animal-like.
Any naturally occurring animal on Earth for certain, and beyond that, kind of a case-by-case thing. As a general rule, any kind of monster that has any kind of magical ability, any kind of innate spellcasting, any kind of like supernatural defense, counts as a monster and not an animal. As far as the monster manual is concerned, there's a keyword that says beasts that actual animals have. Second edition Planescape was a little more fast and loose with it. Back in the day, we didn't have keywords like that. So for the most part, it's going to be anything that appears on Earth naturally as an animal. And then there might be special cases that we'll bring up on a case-by-case basis. But all you have to do is say, hey, can I use animal handling on this creature? And I'll tell you yes or no.
I'm guessing the tiny humanoid, no. That's a no. So I've got a good baseline here.
No, that thing was not an animal. No, this thing was a small humanoid something or other, and you just saw the bright eyes, and it scuttled off out of the room.
What the devil was that?
Let's chase after it.
Okay. Now, you have a lot of difficulty moving into this room. Like, you have to squeeze through. The tunnels get really narrow. But coming in and looking into the second room, what light source do you have?
I don't have shit. I'm just hoping to piggyback on them.
Okay. Well, they're all still standing out in the hallway. So,
Okay, so there's no light even moving
no,
in.
there is...
Produce flame 10 foot and then dim light beyond that for 10 feet. So it's not like it's not a great torch.
Yeah. You would have to have somebody
Okay,
right at your
so-
back to be able to see.
Alright, so I'll crack my own torch out.
Okay.
I'll head back out, light it sheepishly, head back.
Okay. Do you light it
I'll
off of
chuckle.
Ciclon's torch, or do you light it off of the disturbing, just floating flame in Riot's hand?
The disturbing floating flame.
Obviously. Okay.
That's Elda talking.
Now, these passageways are so narrow that you have to squeeze through them, which means it's... Right now, none of you are carrying a lot of equipment, but if you were like wearing plate armor, I wouldn't let you through. It's that kind of narrow. Like squeezing through a corner in NetHack. So, lighting the flame and holding out to the crack, you see some movement as probably two of the creatures exit that room and go off to your left into another opening.
Are they making any noises?
Not much. I mean, when you really listen to it, if you can kind of follow their footfalls along, you can hear there's a silent padding sound, but they're not making a lot of noise at all. And the
I'm
only
gonna
reason,
look around.
yeah, the room you're standing in is totally unfurnished. It's just an empty cavern, an empty cave room, just a hole in the earth.
These things are probably here for a reason, so we should probably figure out what they do.
Okay, so with some difficulty, you manage to squeeze through the opening. And shining your light into the last one, you see they have nowhere else to retreat to, and you see 5 of these little creatures. And holding your light down, you see they're maybe 4 feet tall, with these big ears and these big eyes, and these very dirty clothes. They're just wearing rags. Each one, though, is wearing a large earring in their right ear. It's a large iron earring, and on it has a sigil of what looks like... See if I can do another image search here. And hopefully I will spell this word correctly.
The single iron earring?
Yeah, they're only each one of them is wearing one. I think I found it. Oh, I did find it. I'm the best. For lack of a better term, it looks like some kind of Cthulhu-esque earth fish. I'll paste that into the chat. But the earring
That's
has...
the best term.
It's an iron earring and some kind of black inlay with the design of that monster. I just posted it in the Twitch chat there. That's
Well,
what
like
you
a,
see.
like a plug, like you see people who stretch out their earlobes and stuff, or is that just like an actual ring?
Yeah, we'll call him we'll call it a plug. That's more disturbing. And when you
That's
see
actually
these
cooler.
creatures in there, they don't react. They're all pressed up against the back wall, and they're watching you very purely.
And I'm going to try to talk to them.
In what language?
I'm going to start with Common,
Okay.
but then I'll try out the next two after that.
What do you say?
I'm going to say we're not going to harm you.
And you see the recognition on a couple of their faces, like they understand the words, and they just exchange glances and continue to stare at you. But they don't make any move.
And I'm going to say, can you tell us what's going on here?
And again, they exchange glances. But they don't say anything.
And I'm going to look to the person to my left who appears to be El Saloon. I'm going to say I can't get anything out of them.
I'll shrug. If you couldn't get them to talk, I probably couldn't. But I will get a good look at them and the and those earplugs. Does that look like anything I've seen before?
Yes, that is what Jandar uses as his personal sigil. That's what the house that he worked for branded their slaves with.
Ciclon rub his left shoulder.
So to your eye, these little creatures look like slaves of Jandar.
I'll nod these guys. I'll nod and relay that to the rest of the party.
And I'll say, tell him to stay here. Don't come out.
I'll shrug and say I can't talk to him.
I'll just say to them, stay here.
And again, you see the recognition only on two of their faces. But you have no idea whether they intend to follow your instructions or not.
This is a waste of my time, so I'm going to head out.
So you squeeze back through. And what's next?
I'm going to close this door.
Okay. And you try to close it as silently as possible, but the grinding of it, I mean, it echoes all through the caves. It's very
Okay,
difficult to make a movement without making a lot of sound here.
If they had heard us opening it, they would have heard us closing it, so it's fine.
It's true. Now, heading up towards the end of the hallway turns into kind of a crossroads. Now, looking off to the left, the path starts leading downwards a little bit. And at the very edge of your torch, if you stand where you're standing now and hold your arm at length, you can see a reflection in what looks like stagnant water in that direction. The other direction looks like it remains at this elevation, looks like it remains dry.
Off to this way is where it looks like water.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Which way?
head over there.
Towards the water?
I like Mahogany as party leader because he doesn't deliberate ever about anything. He just does it.
It's gonna get us into trouble so much, though.
Now,
Absolutely.
at this point, the floor, as you step here, you notice it getting muddier, getting stickier.
Mahogany feels at home here.
And beyond about here, if you were to continue down the hallway, the mud would be thick enough to count as difficult terrain. Like it's not gluey. It's not like sucking at your boots. It's just difficult to maintain your footing. And again, it's not foul smelling, just very earthy odor to it.
So it's earthy water, so it's even more Mahogany feels at home here.
I mean, it doesn't smell swampy. It doesn't smell disgusting. It's just a little wet. That's all.
Yeah.
Just a
Very
little muddy.
earthy.
What's over to the right here?
Looking in that room there, you see a very wet, muddy room. And the main path in the room, like I said down here, is muddy enough now to count as difficult terrain. That's the same in this room. The difference between when you look in this room, you hold your torch in and look in, you see mounds of mud kind of stacked up along the walls and in the corners.
And down here, it's just more mud.
It's just the path continues around.
Prompt through forward, or we go to the right?
I say we head over to the...
Some mounds.
So you're heading into room number 4, okay?
Yep.
So you have to navigate around some of these mounds of mud that just piles of it. Most of it, like I said, up along the walls and in the corners.
I'm gonna poke at it a bit with my staff.
With your staff? Okay, and you stick your staff in one and you kind of root through it a little bit and it's just mud throughout.
Right?
Huh? Okay.
Coming up around this way. And it's another hallway that continues out. It continues to be muddy. It continues to be difficult to walk.
I'm just looking at my... And yeah, it lasts for an hour and it might be pretty useful. I'm gonna spend a action right now casting Longstrider on myself.
Okay.
And then I'll keep walking.
Is that
so it's a little
concentration?
bit easier to walk now. No, it's not.
Okay. The hallway continues
That's like
to
the
circle
only
around,
reason I took it.
and you see a couple openings on either side. Not doors, just openings leading into dark rooms.
Check this one.
It's another mud-filled room with, you can see piles of mud up along the back wall and in the back corners.
What do you think? Is this where they kept their slaves?
Seems more like where they kept their mud.
Well, they could be muddy slaves.
Okay, looking in here. Are we looking in here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. This room, looking into it, first of all, the floor is set up a few inches up out of the water and out of the mud on what looks like just a bed of rocks that have been rolled in, kind of loosely packed throughout the room so as to keep the floor dry. Looks like a closet of some kind. You see a lot of tools, especially small picks, axes, clubs, and chisels. They're small, though. They look to be about the size that the little gremlin creatures you saw in that first room could probably use these.
Is there anything besides just picks and stuff in here?
I go inside and roll investigate.
I'm gonna investigate this room with all the mud.
Okay.
Good choice.
Go ahead and roll it.
All right.
That's unfortunate.
I got a 4.
Awesome. Roll initiative.
All of us?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All of you.
I don't know why I asked that.
What did you ask him stupid question, get him stupid answer?
Get him, stupid answer.
Oh.
Well,
If it makes you guys feel better, I can't be surprised. I mean, you can, but... Well, I can be sort of surprised, I guess.
Well, if I am surprised, then I can just not be surprised.
I can be half surprised.
You can be surprised. What you're allowed to do though is use reactions when you're surprised.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Oh no, I copied the thing word for word out of the.
No, he's talking to me, not you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, Mahogany has a faction ability because he's part of the ciphers. He gets an initiative bonus, and if he's surprised, he can use reactions on when surprised. When is Riot acting?
8.
8. And what about Kelian?
8.
8.
Good number.
Is everybody just going on 8?
Nope, I'm going on a 3.
Going on 3?
3.
Don't you get an
That's not
initiative
good.
bonus when you have your thing up?
I have to burn points for it.
Oh,
I'm
and you
gonna
don't want to burn
hold off
points.
on
Okay,
that.
what about Mahogany?
17.
17. My god, I can't type today. There we go.
I've been having a hard time with that too. My fingers are cold.
It was 80 degrees outside when I was out earlier today.
God damn you!
I like how the 17 provided me with 0 benefit. Might as well have been a 9.
Are you guys familiar with Mephits?
Not
Like
especially.
tiny little
Terribly.
Oh,
insects.
there were ice Mephits in the last campaign. You guys kept them bottled up all the campaign.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Because
So we
yeah,
can bottle these
because
guys.
Zuka's a dick.
Right.
Yeah, it was listed. Yeah.
Where in this room did you start your investigation?
You said that where was the mud?
Stacked up all around the walls and corners. So,
I would have started somewhere around these walls then.
okay. Turns out the pile of mud where you were starting your investigation is actually a mud Mephit.
Right gets a little yell of surprise as it comes to life.
So yeah, as soon as you go to poke the pile, it comes to life, throwing mud all over you.